Kale's shuttle cut through the thick clouds of Zithera, its metallic hull creaking under the pressure of the alien atmosphere. From the cockpit, he stared at the sprawling cities below, towering spires of crystal-like structures and smooth domes that reflected the pale green light of the planet's twin suns. He had read every report, memorized every protocol, yet nothing had prepared him for the sight of the world itself. Humans were rare here. Zithera was a planet where order ruled above all else, where every life form had a purpose and every action was calculated. Kale, a human spacer, had been sent on a mission that was supposed to be routine. Explore, observe, and, if possible, make first contact with the colony. But humans were considered anomalies. Too large, too strong, too unpredictable. Many who had arrived before him had been marked for termination, not for cruelty but for survival. The Zitherans believed that beings who could not adapt quickly were a threat to their carefully structured society. Kyle exhaled slowly and opened the shuttle's hatch. The air was heavier than he expected, carrying a faint tang of metallic minerals and unknown chemicals. He could feel his heart racing, but it was not fear, it was excitement. Humans had always thrived on challenges, and this planet, with its strict rules and alien complexity, was perhaps the greatest challenge of all. He stepped out and felt the solid ground beneath his boots. It was firm, yet slightly springy, almost like walking on a thick carpet of moss. Around him, the colony sprawled like a city from another world. Humanoid figures moved gracefully, taller and more slender than any human, their movements precise, controlled, almost like a dance. Kyle kept his gaze steady. He needed to learn quickly. Observation was key. As he moved toward the central plaza, he noticed something unusual. A figure crouched beside a small machine, adjusting its settings with delicate hands. Kyle paused. The being was unlike anything he had studied. Skin that shimmered faintly, eyes larger than a human's, yet warm and curious. It was an alien, but not just any alien. It was Lyra, the biologist who had been assigned to monitor human arrivals. Their eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to pause. Kale's size alone was enough to make most Zitherans wary, but Lyra did not step back. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, studying him as carefully as he was studying her. "Human," she said, her voice soft but precise. "You are larger than expected." Kale chuckled. "That seems to be the universal human problem. Too big, too strong, too curious." He offered a small bow, a gesture of respect he hoped she would understand. Lyra raised an eyebrow. "Curiosity is acceptable, but strength can be dangerous here. You must understand, humans have not been tested thoroughly in our society. Many do not survive." Kyle's eyes hardened, but his voice remained calm. "Then it seems I have reason to prove that I can survive." Lyra studied him, her large eyes reflecting a mixture of caution and intrigue. "Survival alone will not be enough. The Council will not allow anomalies to exist without strict examination. You will be tested. All new arrivals are tested." Kyle nodded. He had expected this. Testing was part of every mission he had undertaken, though none had been as potentially deadly as this one. He needed information, and he needed an ally. Lyra, whether she realized it or not, could be that ally. Over the next few hours, Kale wandered through the city, observing the Zitherans at work. Their technology was unlike anything humans had seen. Machines that responded to thought, structures that seemed to grow organically, and transportation systems that moved without visible engines or fuel. Yet beneath the marvel, Kale sensed the rigid control. Every Zitheran knew their place, and deviations were corrected swiftly. Kale's size drew attention. Children stared with wide eyes while adults kept their distance, whispering in their melodic language. He noted it all carefully. Every glance, every movement could be useful. Survival here would require more than strength. It would require understanding, patience, and cleverness. That evening, Kale returned to the research station where Lyra had been working. She was alone, adjusting a device that projected a holographic map of human physiology against Zitharan standards. "You are still examining me?" Kyle asked, curiosity winning over caution. Lyra did not look up immediately. "Yes, you are exceptional. Humans are rare, but you are larger, stronger, and yet your brain is adaptable. You notice patterns quickly. You think differently than most Zitharans. This could be useful." Kyle smiled. "Useful, huh? That's the word for me here, I suppose." Lyra finally looked up, her eyes meeting his. "You will need allies if you wish to survive. I am curious about you. I do not often take risks for subjects under observation, but something about you, I think I will help." Cal felt a spark of hope. An ally in a place where every step could lead to termination was invaluable. "Then I will do my best not to disappoint you," he said. Over the next few days, Kale learned more about Zitharan society. He attended classes on etiquette, biology, and technology. Each session was designed to test his adaptability, his ability to conform, and his willingness to follow rules. Kale approached each challenge with a mix of observation and ingenuity. One day, during a simulation exercise, he was tasked with repairing a malfunctioning drone that had been designed specifically for Zitharan physiology. The device was delicate, far smaller than human hands were meant to handle. Kale studied the machine, then carefully adjusted his grip, using precise pressure and steady movements. Lyra watched from nearby, her expression unreadable. When Kale succeeded, she finally allowed herself a small smile. "I did not expect that. You have finesse. Humans are not known for subtlety, yet you adapt." Kyle nodded, a sense of pride swelling within him. Adaptation is what humans do best. We survive. We thrive. Even when everything is against us, we find a way. Lyra's gaze softened, though she kept her voice measured. "Perhaps that is why you are still here. Many would have failed by now. The Council, they do not take kindly to those who disrupt their expectations. You are marked, even if not yet formally. You must be careful." Kale's stomach tightened. Marked. The word carried weight. To be marked was to be watched, measured, and, if necessary, removed. Yet he did not falter. "Then I will give them a reason to reconsider. I will show them that humans are more than they imagine." Lyra inclined her head, a silent acknowledgement of his resolve. "Very well. I will assist you where I can. But understand this. The path ahead is dangerous. You are not just a visitor here. You are an anomaly, and anomalies can be destroyed." Kale looked out at the city lights shimmering under the twin suns. He felt a surge of determination. Humans were known for their courage, for their resilience, and for their ability to face the impossible. This planet, with its rigid rules and alien customs, was a test, but Kale did not intend to fail. In the quiet of the night, as he reviewed his notes and observed the Zitharan stars above, Kale realized something profound. He was not here merely to survive. He was here to change perceptions, to prove that humanity had value even in the most ordered societies, and perhaps along the way, he would find a connection that transcended species, a bond that could reshape the future of both humans and Zitharans alike. As sleep claimed him in the small quarters provided by the colony, Kale's mind buzzed with plans, strategies, and possibilities. Tomorrow would bring the Council's first formal observation, a test designed to determine whether he would be allowed to live among the Zitharans or be marked for termination. He was ready. Not because he was fearless, but because he was human, and humans, Kale knew, never gave up. Outside, Lyra watched the city from her own window. For the first time in years, she felt genuine curiosity and hope, not just for science, but for the human who had arrived and dared to challenge everything she thought she knew. The stage was set. The human had arrived. The tests would begin. and the world of Zithera would never be the same. The morning sun cast pale green light across Zithera's central plaza as Kale prepared for the council's tests. The square was empty except for the enforcers who lined the edges, their tall, slender forms motionless like statues. Kyle's heart did not race. Humans were not known for panic, but for focus. He had trained for difficult missions, for situations that demanded calm and precision, and he intended to apply that here. Lyra met him at the entrance, her large eyes reflecting concern. Kale, the council has prepared a series of tests. They are not just physical. They are mental, strategic, and cultural. You must demonstrate not only strength but comprehension, control, and understanding of our society. Kale nodded, studying the imposing council building. I expected nothing less. Humans adapt to challenges. We survive by learning, by observing, by thinking ahead. I will not fail. Lyra inclined her head, but her gaze softened. Be careful. Many humans have failed already, some not by weakness but by underestimating the complexities of our world. The first test was simple to Zytherans but daunting for Kyle. A navigation course through the city's vertical tunnels. Each path required precise timing, observation, and understanding of alien spatial dynamics. Kyle moved carefully, his long strides sometimes too wide for narrow passages, but he adjusted, learning the rhythm of the tunnels. He noticed small patterns. A reflection of sunlight on certain surfaces indicated hidden ledges. A faint hum revealed movement of automated systems. Halfway through Ameke, Kale awoke to the soft hum of Zithera's early morning energy grid, the pale green light of the twin suns filtering through the translucent walls of his quarters. Sleep had been brief and restless, filled with thoughts of the council and the tests he had endured. Today, he knew, would change everything. Lyra was already waiting outside, her expression serious but steady. They have made their decision, she said softly. You are officially marked for termination. Kale's chest tightened, though his face remained calm. He had anticipated suspicion and scrutiny, but the weight of the word termination carried a reality far heavier than theory. To be marked was to be watched constantly, every move recorded and evaluated. Every misstep could result in immediate execution. And yet Kale's mind did not spiral into panic. Humans survived because they adapted. They thrived because they faced challenges head-on. Why? He asked quietly. I passed the tests. I proved that I can integrate. Why mark me? Lyra's eyes were steady. Because some in the council are afraid. Your size, your strength, your intelligence that is unlike anything they have seen. They fear unpredictability. Humans are dangerous because they can think differently, act differently, succeed where Zytherans cannot. They call it a threat. Kale nodded slowly. Then they misunderstand what humans are capable of. Fear is not a reason to destroy potential. Lyra hesitated, then stepped closer. Kale, you must be careful. Being marked means every step you take is watched. Some council members will argue for termination immediately. Others will wait to see how you respond. You have allies, few, but valuable. But you must move wisely. Kale's eyes narrowed. Then we must give them reason to reconsider, not through force, but through strategy, intelligence, and example. The council convened in the central chamber, a vast hall filled with towering Zitharan figures. Their skin shimmered faintly in the green light, and their eyes reflected the pale suns above. Kyle stood in the center, noticeably larger than all of them, yet calm and composed. A senior council member stepped forward. Human Kale, your performance has been unusual. You have survived the initial tests. You have adapted in ways we did not anticipate. Yet your size and strength remain a concern. For the safety and balance of Zytheran society, you are officially marked for termination. Any further deviation from protocol will be met with immediate action. Kyle listened quietly, then lifted his head and spoke, his voice steady. You see danger where there is opportunity. Humans are capable of adapting, contributing, and enhancing your society. My strength is not a threat. It is a tool. My intelligence is not a flaw. It is an asset. Judge me not by fear, but by what I can offer. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some Zitherans were intrigued, others skeptical. The council member's expression remained unreadable. Your words are noted, human, but fear is not easily removed. You are marked. Observe this as a warning. Survival here is conditional, and anomalies are not easily tolerated. Kyle did not flinch. He had expected this. Being marked was not the end. It was a challenge, and humans thrived on challenges. After the council meeting, Lyra met him in a quiet corridor. You did well, she said. You have spoken with courage. But words alone will not protect you. The council watches everything. You must be clever, Kale. They will test you again, and soon. Kale's gaze drifted toward the city's spires glowing softly in the twin suns. Then we will prepare. Humans survive because we do not surrender. We do not hide. We observe, we learn, and we act when the moment is right. The council may fear us, but they cannot stop the potential we carry. Over the following days, Kale became acutely aware of his marked status. Every movement was noted, every interaction analyzed. Zitherans approached him with caution, sometimes curiosity, sometimes veiled suspicion. He noticed the subtle changes, slight pauses in conversation, lingering glances from observers, minor restrictions in his movements. Yet Kale did not retreat. Instead, he used observation as his advantage. He learned the rhythms of the city, the patterns of the enforcers, and the tendencies of council members. He discovered allies in unexpected places, Zitherans who admired his ingenuity and courage, but dared not speak openly. Lyra became his most trusted confidant. Together, they devised strategies to navigate the council's scrutiny. They studied the behavior of key members, analyzed the legal and societal rules of the colony, and explored ways to demonstrate Kyle's value beyond fear. One evening, while observing a maintenance team working on the city's energy conduits, Kale noticed a flaw in the system, a small misalignment that could cause a significant disruption if not corrected. Most Zitherans would have ignored it, assuming the automated systems would adjust. Kyle saw an opportunity. He approached the team and, with careful precision, corrected the alignment. The system stabilized instantly. The Zitherans watched in astonishment. Some whispered among themselves, others nodded respectfully. Even enforcers who had observed him closely could not deny the effectiveness of his intervention. Lyra, watching from a distance, allowed herself a small smile. You are proving them wrong, Kyle. Quietly, subtly, without confrontation. This is the way humans can survive here, not by fighting fear, but by demonstrating value. Kyle nodded, understanding the strategy. Fear could not be erased quickly, but respect could grow through action. Humans were exceptional at adaptation, at turning challenges into advantages. If he could demonstrate usefulness, perhaps the council would reconsider their judgment. The next day, Kyle was summoned for a private audience with a council advisor, a high-ranking Zytheran named Vera. She was known for her strict adherence to protocol, but also for her openness to reason. Kale entered the chamber, noting the subtle hum of energy flowing through the walls, a reminder of the alien intelligence embedded in every corner of their society. Human Kale, Vera began, her voice precise and calm. You are marked for termination, yet your recent actions have caused reconsideration among some council members. You demonstrate unusual ingenuity and problem-solving. Tell me, why should you not be removed from this colony? Kyle met her gaze steadily. Because humans are more than their size, strength, or unpredictability. We adapt, innovate, and contribute in ways others cannot. I have already demonstrated my ability to integrate and assist. Remove me, and you lose that potential. Allow me to stay, and you gain an ally capable of solving problems that your society has not yet encountered. Vera studied him silently, her eyes reflecting contemplation. Many fear humans because they are different, yet you speak with clarity and purpose. You may have potential, but others will resist. You must prove yourself continuously. One misstep, and termination will be immediate. Kale inclined his head. Then I will not falter. I will show through action, not words, that humans are a strength, not a threat. Over the following weeks, Kale faced subtle challenges designed to test both skill and character. He was asked to participate in simulations of natural disasters, to coordinate with multiple alien teams on complex engineering tasks, and to make decisions that balanced human instinct with alien protocol. Each time he succeeded, often finding solutions that Zytherans had overlooked. Yet, the shadow of termination never left him. Some council members remained suspicious, viewing his success as an anomaly or a potential threat in disguise. Kyle understood that survival here required more than intelligence. It required strategy, alliances, and unwavering composure. Through it all, Lyra remained by his side, guiding him, offering insight into Zytheran society, and occasionally providing subtle interventions to smooth the path. Kyle began to see not just the alien culture, but also the opportunities within it. Humans were capable of bridging gaps, finding solutions, and creating value in ways that others could not. One evening, after another successful demonstration of skill and ingenuity, Kale and Lyra walked through the city's floating gardens. The twin suns cast long shadows, and the bioluminescent plants glowed faintly, illuminating the path. "You are doing well," Lyra said softly. "But the Council's fear is deep-rooted. You must continue to prove that humans can coexist without disrupting order. You are a symbol now, not just for yourself, but for all humans." Kyle nodded, his gaze firm. "Then I will continue. I will prove that humans are not only survivors, but contributors. That strength, intelligence, and adaptability can be used for growth, not fear. I will show them that what they call dangerous is actually valuable." Lyra's expression softened, and for the first time, her tone carried warmth. Perhaps you are the exception that changes perception. But remember, Kyle, one wrong step and all could be lost." Kale smiled faintly. "Then I will step wisely. But I will step forward. Humans do not hide when faced with danger. We adapt, we overcome, and we persist." As they walked through the gardens, the wind carrying faint alien scents, Kale understood the reality of being marked. Fear and suspicion would never fully disappear. But humans had a quality that transcended fear: resilience. And Kale intended to demonstrate it one calculated step at a time. The stage had shifted. Kale was no longer merely a visitor. He was an anomaly, a challenge to perception and a symbol of potential. Marked for termination, yes, but also marked for opportunity. And in the heart of Zythera, a human spacer prepared to turn fear into respect. Kale moved quietly through the lower levels of the Zytheran sit. The council chamber of Zythera glimmered in the pale green light of the twin suns, its walls lined with hovering panels and softly glowing symbols. Kyle stood at the center, flanked by Lyra and the group of allied Zytherans. Today was the culmination of weeks of careful planning, innovation, and quiet demonstrations of human ingenuity. The council had requested a final evaluation, and Kale understood that this moment would determine his fate. "You have been summoned," Lyra whispered, her tone calm but edged with concern. "The council will watch everything. Every word, every movement. You must prove not only skill but integrity, cooperation, and foresight. The wrong impression, and termination will follow." Kale's jaw tightened, but his eyes were steady. "I understand. Fear will not guide me. Intelligence, preparation, and cooperation will. Humans have always faced impossible odds, and we prevail. Today will be no different." The chamber doors opened with a faint hiss, and the council entered in a wave of shimmering light. Tall, elegant Zytherans, each radiating authority, filled the hall. The murmurs of assembled observers faded as Kyle stepped forward, his posture confident yet respectful. Human Kyle, a council elder began, her voice precise and commanding. You have survived tests, avoided hazards, and demonstrated ingenuity, yet your status remains marked. Some members argue that your presence is a threat. Others claim that your contributions show potential. Today, we will decide. Convince us that humans deserve a place among Zytherans. Kyle took a deep breath. Council members, I do not seek to replace or disrupt. I seek to contribute, to solve problems, and to work with you. Humans are adaptable, cooperative, and innovative. My size, my strength, my intelligence, these are not threats. They are tools. Tools that, when combined with Zytheran knowledge, can improve safety, efficiency, and progress. A few murmurs spread through the chamber. One council member, tall and severe, raised a hand. Words are meaningless. We require proof. You have demonstrated cleverness, yes, but can humans truly cooperate without causing disruption? Can you balance instinct with our societal rules? Kyle stepped forward, signaling to the allied engineers and scientists behind him. I have already prepared proof. Observe the improvements to the city's energy grid and emergency response systems. Each modification has been tested to enhance efficiency and safety without breaking protocol. These are not just ideas, they are results. Holographic projections activated across the chamber. Energy flows stabilized, emergency simulations ran smoothly, and minor failures were automatically corrected without human interference. The council members leaned forward, examining every detail. Even skeptics could not ignore the clear improvements. Lyra stood beside Kale, offering quiet support. Notice the adjustments that were overlooked by standard procedure, she whispered. Human perspective sees solutions beyond rigid expectation. Kale nodded, keeping his focus on the council. My goal is not to defy or dominate. My goal is to work alongside you. Humans have survived because we can adapt and collaborate. We see patterns and solutions that complement, rather than contradict, existing systems. For a long moment, silence filled the chamber. Then a senior council member spoke, her voice softer but deliberate. Your results are undeniable, human Kyle. Yet many still fear what they do not understand. Some among us argue that size and strength alone can destabilize social harmony. Why should we not enforce termination even now? Kyle met her gaze calmly. Because fear alone is not a reason to destroy potential. Humans are more than physical traits. We innovate, we solve problems, and we protect those around us. Termination would eliminate not just a single individual, but an opportunity for cooperation, growth, and progress. A murmur ran through the chamber, some council members exchanging cautious glances. Lyra sensed a subtle shift. The fear that had dominated earlier discussions was now mixed with curiosity and even cautious respect. One council member, younger and less rigid, spoke. Human Kale, you speak with clarity. You have demonstrated skill and foresight, but there is more to society than problem solving. What of loyalty, ethics, and connection? Can humans integrate fully into Zytheran life? Kale paused, then looked to Lyra, who nodded encouragingly. Integration is not a passive process. It requires effort, respect, and mutual understanding. I have observed your society, learned your systems, and worked to assist without disruption. My loyalty is proven through action, my ethics through decisions that prioritize cooperation and safety. Connection comes naturally when trust is earned. The council was silent again. Kale continued. Fear can blind a society to opportunity. Humans offer perspective, innovation, and courage. We are adaptable and persistent. We can be a bridge, not a wedge. Today I ask not just for survival, but for a chance to demonstrate humanity's value fully. The chamber remained tense. Then a slow nod came from the elder who had first spoken. Perhaps. The council has judged too quickly. We will deliberate further. But there remains one condition. Your cooperation must continue without deviation. One misstep and termination will be enforced immediately. Kale bowed respectfully. I accept your conditions. Humans do not seek conflict, only understanding, contribution, and growth. After the session ended, Kale and Lyra returned to the hidden laboratory. The group of allied Zytherans greeted them with quiet applause. The demonstration had not only impressed the council but also strengthened trust within their own ranks. Lyra leaned against a work table, her eyes reflecting relief and pride. "You did it, Kyle. The council has seen your value. But they remain cautious. The mark is not removed. They will watch every action. You have survived confrontation, but now, perception must change over time." Kyle smiled faintly. Survival is only the first step. Change comes through persistence, consistency, and results. Humans thrive because we adapt. We survive not by hiding, but by demonstrating value. In the following days, Kyle continued to work with the allied group, improving infrastructure, introducing innovations, and quietly mentoring Zytherans in techniques that complemented their society. Every project was a chance to demonstrate integration, collaboration, and the benefits of human perspective. Yet beneath every success, Kale felt the weight of choice. The council, while impressed, would not forgive failure. Lyra had become more than a guide. She had become a partner, someone whose opinion and support he valued deeply. The realization dawned on Kale that his future on Zythera was tied not only to survival, but also to the life he wished to build with Lyra. One evening, as they walked through the floating gardens, Lyra spoke softly. "Kale, the council will continue to test you, but there is another choice, yours alone. You may return to human space, return to safety and familiarity, or you may stay here, face constant scrutiny, but build a life among us." Kyle stopped, gazing at the glowing plants and serene waters. "I have faced impossible odds before," he said quietly, "but this is different. Here, I see potential. Here, humans can contribute in ways that matter, and with you, I see connection, trust, and partnership." Lyra's eyes widened slightly. "You would choose to stay, despite the risk?" Kale nodded. "Yes. Life is not measured by comfort or absence of danger. Humans grow through challenge, through perseverance, and through collaboration. I have learned the rules, earned allies, and demonstrated value. I will stay, not out of fear, but because this is a place where we can thrive together." Lyra stepped closer, her voice gentle. "Then we move forward, together, carefully, but boldly. The council will continue to observe, but your actions have already begun to shift perception. This is only the beginning." Kale placed a hand on hers, a rare gesture among humans and Zytherans alike. "We will show them that humans are not just survivors. We are innovators, collaborators, and partners. Difference is not danger. It is potential." The night sky of Zythera shimmered with faint stars, reflecting in the tranquil waters of the floating gardens. The twin suns had set, casting long shadows and gentle light. Kyle understood that the true test was not merely surviving confrontation, but building a future that others could accept and value. In the quiet of the gardens, surrounded by allies and illuminated by soft green light, Kale made a choice. He would stay on Zythera, face scrutiny, and work tirelessly to prove humanity's worth. He would stand beside Lyra, building a life that bridged worlds, challenged perceptions, and created opportunity. The council had witnessed his capabilities, and though the mark of termination still lingered, Kale had begun to turn fear into respect. The human spacer had survived confrontation, and now he faced the most important challenge yet, forging a life of collaboration, trust, and enduring impact. In the heart of an alien world, Kale had chosen not only survival but growth, connection, and purpose. And in that choice, the first true steps toward recognition, respect, and integration had begun. The city of Zythera glimmered under the twin suns, its spires reflecting light like crystalline towers. Kale walked through the streets alongside Lyra, not as a marked human but as a recognized contributor. Weeks of careful demonstration, innovation, and quiet courage had begun to change the perception of humans among the Zytherans. The council had not removed the mark entirely, but it no longer carried the same weight of fear. Some council members remained cautious, but a growing number acknowledged Cale's value. He had proven T,